So hello Achievers, today I am with a new awesome guest. He's David Corbin. I love his name, and he's a to mentors, inventor, author, best speaker, and a consultant also. You will discover him. He's awesome, he's funny, and we will talk about also negative things. It's new. You will discover the power of negative things. Hello David.
Hello, hello, hello.
I love your name.
Yes, I know that. You know what? I don't go anywhere without it. I can take it wherever I go.
Okay.
David, Davide.
David.
How do you say David in French?
David.
David.
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
I would like two things. I would like to let you introduce yourself, and then I would love to know more about your story, and especially your struggles, and especially how you overcame it.
Well, by way of introduction, my name is David, but you already know that. Yes? Yes. And, I'm a human being, and that's my first and foremost. I'm a father, I'm a person. And as a person, I got struggles, I got issues, I got challenges. And some of them really sucked. They really sucked. I mean, they really sucked as I was growing up. And did I overcome them? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a business guy, and I'm a speaker, and I'm an author. And some of the people that you've mentored, that you've interviewed, I've mentored. And so somehow, I not only came through these life experiences, but I came through on the other side that I could help pull other people with me. So I learned some lessons. And you talk about struggles. I had so many struggles as a kid that I found myself studying to become, and I became, and practiced for 4 years as a psychotherapist to understand human behavior. Now we joke and say, I'm no longer a psychotherapist, I'm just a psycho. I dropped the therapist part, but you never really drop the therapist. And I hope I always stay a psycho, because a psycho is someone who looks at the world differently, and I love looking at the world differently. I've heard it said that we should never be conformed to this world, but rather be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And I learned from one of my latest coaches, my life coach, who you're going to be interviewing, her name is Sandrine, also French, that we should not only renew the mind, but renew the shape and the access of the heart. And that's a tremendous and a profound lesson. So from psychotherapy and understanding psychology and human behavior, I applied that to business, because I found most of business involves people. And people carry crap with them. I don't want to point to myself when I say crap. They carry crap with them, bad stuff. And my job in business is to help to hold a mirror up, help them see what some of their issues are individually and as a business, and work to resolve them. So I've been doing that for a long time. So by way of introduction, I'm a businessman, I'm a human being, I'm a guy who loves to laugh, I'm a guy who makes a lot of mistakes, who loves to learn from them, who's earned a lot of money by inventing products and services and selling those businesses, and laughing and having fun. So a term that I thought about this morning was blissful commitment. Blissful commitment. I am committed to my bliss and having fun and helping expose to people how they can have their bliss by getting out of their own way. So there's some introduction.
Great.
Yeah.
And can you share me one of your struggles you overcame? Maybe the struggles that you are the most proud of.
Wow.
Not the struggle, but how you overcame it.
There's a million of them. I mean,
at the beginning of your business.
Okay, so in the beginning of my life and then my business. So in the beginning of the life was self-worth. And you and I had a conversation earlier about self-confidence and self-esteem. And I began early on in my life thinking that everybody was better than me. Actually, I didn't think that. I knew that. I knew somehow everybody was better than me. They were smarter, brighter, faster, better looking. They had more stuff than me. I just was caved in, And that's not a nice feeling. And there's people who are listening to this and watching this, and they can relate to that. In fact, a lot of us can relate to that. It was Thoreau, I believe, who said that man/woman lead lives of quiet desperation. So I grew up early that way. My dad didn't talk to me till I was about 13 years old. I couldn't understand why he was nice and kind and loving and friendly to everyone else, including kids, but not me. So I concluded I just wasn't good enough. And so I needed to somehow work hard to try to get his approval and other people's approval. Now that's a blessing, because I really studied and learned how to influence and impact people for the wrong reason, but I really learned how to influence. And
like
so
I did.
yeah, and I really reached for that. And that's a great skill. And so that was quite painful. How did I overcome that? Well, I reached out. I reached out, and I had some people that were kind enough to lend a hand and to remind me of my greatness. And I had to really say, is that true? Is that possible? Could I really? No, I'm not good enough. So having people come into my life as mentors, and now look, so many years later, I'm a mentor.
Great.
And I'm a mentor to mentors. So I believe that I attracted into my life and chose my father. I chose my father at a metaphysical level to behave in that way so I could develop these skills, overcome my issues, and help others overcome theirs. And that's been a main purpose of my life.
Great. I have a question for you about speaking and business also. According to you, what is and what are the differences between top speaker and the others?
Oh, it's very simple. It's very simple. I don't know if I could use dirty words, but a friend of mine taught me a term called shit cakes. A shit cake is someone who professes to be caring, wise, and loving, and they're not. In the States here, we call it a lion in lamb's clothing, you know? So the difference between speakers, what makes some great, or I think that was the question,
Yeah.
is their heart, is their intention, is their purpose, is their mission. There are many speakers, people who you'll meet, and their mission is to sell books, sell tapes, and get a bunch of people to sit in the room and pay money. That's their mission. That's not a great speaker. A great speaker has the skills and the heart and the intention. That's a great speaker.
Great. So how we can open the heart? Because I think that, I believe that a lot of people have this heart.
Yes, yes.
But how to connect it? Or maybe how to learn how to connect it?
Yes, yes. So I know you have a technical background, and you studied technology and you love technology. And as you know, with our computers, we can do a gross networking and we can do a peer-to-peer networking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I like to do is a peer-to-peer networking with an individual at the limbic system, which is the reptilian brain, but most importantly, at the heart level. Because behind that microphone there is a big circle, a big vortex. And that vortex is your heart, it's your essence, it's a chakra of love. I have the same one. And anybody that you ever meet, oddly enough, they went shopping at the same place and they have one also. And when you connect at that peer-to-peer networking, wow, it's amazing. When you then begin to care about that individual as you care about yourself. And you connect, and then together, the energy, the possibilities are phenomenal. So I like to see the energy going back and forth to the different people and feel that connection. It's freaking awesome. And when you do that with an audience, at first you can only do that with the people in the first row, and then you play a game and then you do that with somebody who's way in the back, and you put the energy back and forth, all of a sudden you start connecting. And the weird thing is they start connecting. And when you do exercises with them and you create that energetic, so magic seems to happen. So the difference between a good speaker and a great speaker is not their speech, but the reaction that they get.
Great. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a book, and I would like to show it. Yeah, you can see. Okay, great. And we were talking just before the interview about the power of negative thinking.
Yeah.
And I would love to know your point of view about that and how we can learn to change our perception.
It's a trip. It's funny, I was driving down the same road today that I was driving down a few years ago, and my assistant called me up and said, there's an executive from Europe on the phone, and he wants to talk with you, and he asked if I would patch you through. And I said, sure, put him through. So I had this executive on the phone. He said, I just read the new Think and Grow Rich book, and you're in that book. I said, yes, I know that. He said, well, I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. It's changed my life. I said, great, as it has mine and so many millions of people. And I'm wondering, why is he calling me? He said, but when I read the new Think and Grow Rich book that you're in, you're the only one who talks about the positive power of negative thinking. And he got it. And I said, well, let's not go too far with that. What does that mean to you? He said, exactly what you taught. You taught that nowhere in the positive mental attitude literature does it say we should ignore negative issues. And I said, you got it. So we want to illuminate the negative issues we have in a positive light and see what are the issues that are causing these things and how could I learn and grow from it. So the point of that book is, David, simply that we cannot solve every problem that we face, but we can't solve any of them unless we face them, unless we point our nose right at them and say, what is that problem and what is that issue? Instead of running away from it or going, well, I'm into the positive attitude, I'm going to ignore that, I'm just going to focus on the positive attitude. Well, I got to tell you, if God forbid this little dot here is a cancer or a melanoma, I think what I'll do is I'll be positive and I'll cover it up with a Band-Aid and I'll just focus in on the rest of my magnificent skin. But that could kill you. So I say take the Band-Aid off, take a look at what some issues are, some things that might be holding us back, which could be as simple or as complex as self-esteem, confidence, whatever it is, look at it, face it, then follow it and fix it. That's the essence of that book.
Great. So when you have a bad feeling, how do you transform that in something very good? How do you put light on something where not so
I'll tell you how most people do it, David. Most people, when they have an issue and they're feeling like something's bothering them, they're just going to change their mind, shift their state. You studied NLP, as did I. Boom, do a big swish pattern and change your state of mind. And that works. And I'll do that from time to time. Or do a positive affirmation. You're feeling really lousy, you say, I feel terrific. I feel terrific. I feel terrific. And then you program your unconscious mind and surprise, surprise, you feel terrific. That works. There's another way of doing it. And and take out your pens and papers here because this is a keeper here. This is a life changer. Get to the root cause. Instead of just shifting your state and saying, I'm going to suppress that and I'm going to shift my attention, every once in a while, instead of running away from that problem and covering it up, go into the storm and say, what's causing that? What's the issue? So for example, I just don't feel good today. I want to stay in. I want to cancel my meetings. I don't feel good. And so I say, no, I'm going to do positive affirmations. I feel terrific. I feel terrific. I feel terrific. And you feel terrific. You do your meetings. But it comes back. You know why? Because that issue, that challenge loves you. And there's a lesson in there. And when we keep taking it and hiding it, we don't get the lesson. So the illuminate model, the first step is face it. What could that be? What could the issue be? What could the challenge be? And you go inside and go, well, I think it's because I'm doing some work that I don't agree with. I'm helping somebody in business and I don't really agree with their business philosophy. I feel like I'm propagating bullshit. I don't feel good about that. Well, I'm going to cover that up. No, get into it and go, so now I think I'm going to choose clients that I believe in. So I'm going to help this client, absolutely. But in the future, I'm going to choose clients that I feel really good and confident that I'm propagating a good mission. You know, if I would have just done affirmations, I wouldn't have gotten that lesson. This illuminate thing works. I'm going to illuminate, I'm going to face it. I'm not feeling good, follow it. I'm not feeling good because I'm doing something that's not in integrity with me. Fix it. I'll work with this person, but from now on, I'm only going to choose clients that I believe in their message. That's illuminating the negative. That's taking it out from the darkness and putting it in the light. You see, David, these negative issues that are calling for our attention, when you keep them in the dark, they multiply and grow like mushrooms. They multiply. But when you put them in the light of day, sometimes they just disappear, like a vampire would in the light of day. They say that daylight is God's greatest disinfectant. So face it, follow it, fix it, and lead a life that you're not going to constantly be plagued by these issues. You'll have cleared them. Make way to take the next lesson. That's my story.
Yeah, it's great. And when you have this kind of feeling, do I have to question myself, to ask something, why I am feeling this kind of emotion, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a process to get the informations to go to the root?
Yeah. It's a very old process.
Yeah.
It's been going on since the recorded history of mankind. They used to call it prayer. Today we call it prayer or meditation. But I say take at least 22 minutes a day to go inside and meditate and really, really allow yourself to catch up, your soul to catch up. Then, when you have a negative situation that's going on, you know, because you've tapped into your power, that you have the power to solve and fix anything. So when a problem comes up, if I have a problem that I'm hit with, or even if a client has a problem, I could say to them, or I could say to myself, I don't know how I'm going to fix this, but I know this. I'm going to fix this. I can resolve this. I have the confidence to deal with anything in my life. So let's say, for example, I think you're asking me, you're saying, David, when something happens and somebody they hit a wall, you know, they're in a problem, what process might they use in addition to facing the negative issues behind it? Well, when you build yourself, when you build your confidence muscle, like you're building a muscle, you're immediately going to go, wow, this is great. This is great. I just found another area of opportunity for me to grow. So you shift it. You understand? You're changing the base. You're changing, in some cases, you'll change your frustration into fascination. In this case, instead of running away, oh my God, I've got a problem, you're going, this is awesome. I've got an opportunity. And so that mentality and that mindset changes everything. It's not a technique. Because some people look for techniques. I'm sorry, it's not a technique. It's a way of being. It's a synthesized form of confidence that when something happens, I know I can deal with it, I can fix it. So it's the initial technique, if you're just starting out, is face it, follow it, and fix it. Ask yourself, what's causing this problem? If I don't solve it, where's it going to take me? And then when you do that, it's amazing how your confidence goes up. You know about certain laws. I think in France, they also have this thing that we have here in the States called the law of gravity. Do you have that in France? You have that?
Also.
Did you just get it? Or you
Not
had it
everywhere, but some.
Oh, is it everywhere? Fantastic. There's another immutable law that's everywhere, and it's called the law of control. And the law of control, which works everywhere, whether you believe in it or not, it works everywhere. See, if you don't believe in gravity, it doesn't give a shit. You walk off of any building anywhere, you're going down, even in France. Okay?
Not everywhere.
Not everywhere?
No.
Okay. Well, in many places that I've been to, and believe me, I've tried it. I've learned the hard way. But there's another law, and it doesn't care if you believe it or not. It's called the law of control. And it says our self-confidence and our self-esteem
Yeah.
is directly connected to our being in control of our life and our destiny. As we start doing some of these things, taking control and having the character and the courage and the discipline to illuminate the negative in a positive light, our self-esteem starts going up. We start building it up. That's why it's not a technique so much as a mindset. All of a sudden, we start feeling good. A problem goes, we solve it, and we feel tremendous. That's the law of control. So anything that you do, like waking up in the morning and having a morning ritual, that's the law of control, because you're doing something, you're controlling your life. Many of us work off of lists, right? And we check it off. How does it feel when you check it off? It feels good.
Yeah.
That's the law of control. Some of us will do something, it's not on the list. We put it on the list just so we could check it off. That's the law of control. And that creates a mindset of confidence and competence.
Great. I have another question. It is more global. According to you, how to unleash a potential? How to unleash our own potential?
Well, I'm learning in my old age. I turned 60 this year. I'm learning that being in control of my body and my life is critically important. I cannot unleash power if it's being used unnecessarily. You're a technology guy. You know that we can sometimes have an energy leak where we're shunting energy. It's as simple, those of us who live in houses and have electricity, we might leave electricity on and we don't even know it's on, and it's shunting the energy. Or we might have a leak in our pipe and we're losing water. It's a waste of that. I was wasting energy, psychic energy, by carrying too much weight, by having my body working too hard to cleanse itself of toxins. You want to unleash the power within? Allow for that power to happen and illuminate, and then eliminate areas that you're wasting your energy. I was carrying around in each hand a 15-pound weight. I was walking around with 30 pounds of weight. My body was having to work really harder. My body didn't want to work that hard, but I wasn't giving it a choice. I was smoking cigars, one a day almost, and I was creating toxins in my body. I was drinking wine, nothing wrong with drinking wine, but I was drinking a lot of wine. I wasn't a wino, but every night at dinner I would have 3-4 glasses of wine. Somebody reminded me, 4 glasses of wine? That's a bottle. Well, what's wrong with that? I feel fine. All the sugar you're putting in your system? So you want to unleash the power. First, unleash the constraints of that power. You got plenty of power. The greatest architect in the world who designed your body gave you plenty of power. We just keep putting toxins and unnecessary strains on it.
What do you think about sugar? Because in the USA, it's amazing. Everywhere you find sugar.
Yeah.
More than all countries I discovered.
Yeah. So the message I'm trying to give to people who are listening to this is, number 1, take responsibility for your life. Number 2, don't just look at the positive things, but also have the character and courage to look at some of the negative things. Number 3, study and learn. Learn as much as you can. Learn about nutrition. Learn about sleep. Learn about as many things as you can in life. And one of the things to learn is about health, certainly. About health. How could you unleash the power within when you're making the leash tighter and tighter and tighter? How can you do that? One of the greatest myths that I've ever heard is this low-fat diet and eating all these foods that are low-fat. Here in the States, marketing is more important than integrity. Selling your product is more important than doing good. Selling your medicine, selling your low-fat foods and your fat-free foods, it's more important than health. America, here in the States, we are the most obese society in the history of mankind, the most obese. We also have the most, if you look in our supermarkets, the most low-fat foods. Well, how could that be? How can we have low-fat foods and we have the fattest people? The fattest people who are obese that are causing this nation to go into bankruptcy because of our health care, but we have no fat foods. Well, what they're not telling you is they're loading them up with tons of sugar. The sugar word you just mentioned. There's so much sugar in our foods. Oh, they cut the fat out. But what happens to the sugar? Boom, it turns into fat. They know that, but they don't care. They just don't care. So the message I'm sharing is take responsibility for your own life. Don't listen to what they're telling you. Listen to the still voice within. Be smart. Don't listen to that propaganda. They're doing that because they want to make money. They want to sell drugs. They want to sell. To take responsibility. Learn from people who know what they know and question their motives. Are they doing it because they want to make money? Are they doing it they want to make a difference? And by the way, you can make a ton of money by making a difference. But check their motivation out. So sugar.
Do you eat some sugar today or not at all?
Well, any sugar that I'm going to eat, I learned again, and you're going to be interviewing Ishwari J. She's the one who taught me most of what I'm talking about with regard to health and lifestyle shifts and well-being. Is if you're going to eat sugar, eat the right sugar. Because my body can metabolize sugar, but it's got to be the right sugar. It can't be empty sugar. Like it's got to be something like this coconut sugar and stuff. She'll talk about that sort of stuff. And anybody who's got the internet can Google the different types of sugar that's available to you. But there's something called glycemic index, and like I use agave nectar, but it should be not only organic agave nectar, but she teaches me in her wonderful French accent, no, David, it must be raw. It's got to be raw. And so, and I have no need or pang. I got to have sugar. I got to have something sweet. And it's just like fat. I was like, no, I can't eat that avocado. It's too fattening. She said, no, it's good fat. Eat the good fat. So live a responsible life. Take responsibility. Take care of your health. Don't be afraid to run away from negative issues. Learn from them. Face, follow, and fix them. And one of the greatest things you could apply that whole model to is your health. It's so simple, it's silly.
Great, I love that. I put a lot of attention in what I am eating, and I take no sugar, only fruits, and it's amazing to meet someone like you. It's inspiring.
Well, yeah, it's amazing to learn, and I say it's amazing to meet someone like my mentor in that regard, and we keep learning and passing it on, learning and pass it on. You interviewed a gentleman named Greg Reed.
Yeah.
And he's an amazing thought leader. I met him early on when he was wanting to be in this industry. He was looking for a mentor, and he selected me as a mentor. I don't know why, but he did. And as a result, we become very close friends, and I was the best man at his wedding, and we're at a deep connection. And so Greg is one who really believes in passing it on. In fact, he came up with an idea to make a movie called Pass It On.
Yeah.
And that's the movie, and I was the host of that movie, hosting many of the people that you're interviewing, from Brian Tracy and many of the other names that are in there. And we believe that societies and individuals will perish or flourish based upon their ability to pass on information from one generation to the next. And I think that's what you're doing. I mean, the reason that I'm here working with you is that I believe you're committed to creating an environment that people could pass on good information. And that's why I high-five you and go, David, I'm all in, man. You're doing good stuff. You're learning from what you needed to learn, and you're passing that on, and you're smart enough to say, I have a message, but there are so many other people that have messages. What if I bring them together in one place, individually, put it on video, share it with people, and pass it on? This is good stuff, man. This is how we, as a family of human beings, are going to evolve. This tsunamic wave of evolution happens because of crazy people like you and me and others who really want to propagate these messages.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that. I would like to go back in about public speaking, because a lot of people say to me, oh, David is maybe the he's funny, and yeah, he's funny on stage and everywhere. And what do you think about? Do you think every speaker has to learn how to become funny, or not? What do you think about that?
Well, we're all funny. We're all funny. I mean, we were born, they pulled us out, we were naked, they smacked us, we cried, and we made jokes inside they didn't even know about. We were making fun of those morons who were, we're always, life is a cosmic joke. My guru, one of my guru is this guy who just loves to laugh. And let me tell you something, I guarantee you, he puts me in situations, he's laughing at me just freaking out and doing all this crazy stuff. We have an intrinsic joy in life. Some of us are funnier than others. Some of us are funny, we don't even know we're funny. One of my friends, she's hysterical. She doesn't know she's funny. She makes me laugh. She has her own cute little ways. But she's authentically funny, we all are. And you said, should we be authentic or should we be funny? It's never the choice. You see, authenticity is indeed authenticity. You can't, Now, can you develop the skill? Absolutely. I could develop a skill right now. If you want me to tell you a half hour worth of jokes, link them with a thread and have you laughing, I can do that. That's an acquired skill. So what I found is that people learn to the extent that they're open. As stress and tension goes down, openness and awareness goes up. So the extent that you could have fun, people are going to take information in and learn. So the study and the work of Dr. Robert Mager and other learning theorists are such that humor chelates or helps humans assimilate information. So you want to joke, you want to laugh. I opened up a speech the other day and I said, listen, thank you for that introduction, that was fabulous, but you left out one thing, and that is this deal I just closed with HBO. And the audience went, yay! I said, yeah, for $39 a month, I could watch as many movies as I want to watch. That's the deal I closed with HBO. And they thought I had a special, and they did that. And I talk about certain things which are maybe societally or culturally specific, but I'll always get them laughing. How many of you, by show of hands, have either seen me before, or else this is the first time? And they'll go, and they kind of chuckle. It opens them up a little bit. Because if I can't get them engaged and to smile a little bit, I'm not going to be able to talk to them. And so then when I get them in a situation where there's this really serious point and they're really thinking, then I'm going to tickle them and make them laugh because I got to take them on that roller coaster. So as someone who's trained speakers, I know you need to take them on that up and down, salty and sweet, funny and serious. That's how people take information in and learn. That's an acquired skill. Okay, that's an acquired skill. I believe that humor is a part of that. You need to do that, whether you like it or not. There's some people that look very serious, and you need to train them to open up their face and smile. My daughter would sometimes say to me, Daddy, what's the problem? And I go, honey, everything's fine, I have no problem. She'd go, well, tell your face that. Because sometimes our face looks really stern, because when we get real serious. But I think authenticity is key. And when you are your authentic self, people will get that. Whether you're authentically very funny or not, it doesn't really make a difference. When you're real, they'll get it. One of the best speakers I heard in the last 5 years was a guy who I shared time with, Don Miguel Ruiz. If you've read the Agreements book. And
yeah, I would love to interview also.
He's a wonderful guy, and when he speaks like this. Blah, 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 blah. Now, most people would go, I'm changing the channel on that one. I'm not watching that. But because his message is so real and heartfelt, you're mesmerized. You're hypnotized. He's making a connection with you. And then there are others, and they're full of fun and life and energy. There's no message there. But they're entertaining. And they capture your attention, like a car accident on the side of the road. It holds your attention, but it has no redeeming value. So when I do speaker training, I try to have them be their authentic self and to blend in some drama and theater, some humor and some serious throughout. But the real key is, even if you don't do that, but you've got a compelling message that resonate with people, they'll get it.
Yeah, so it's the first step. Have a great message.
Great message. An absolute message that is not only important to you, but has importance to other people. That's number one. Then number two is, ask yourself, what are my core skills of communication? Is it eye-hand coordination? Is it that you sit still but you talk with your face? Is it voice inflection? Is it something that you can make points so powerfully just by bringing your voice down? All those skills, the power of the pause. Do you pause? You see, those are techniques that you may do naturally. See what you do naturally. Take inventory of that. Then do those on purpose. And then if you want to integrate some other techniques that you might not do naturally, but you think might augment or help to build your message, start practicing those and learn them. But don't do everybody else's stuff. Don't, other people, I see them imitating other people. Like you're going to be interviewing Brian Tracy.
Yeah.
And Brian and I were business partners for many years. I used to train people as consultants when Brian and I were partners. And I would have them present information, and they're nice people, they're authentic. As soon as the camera went on, they turned into Brian, or they turned into me. They started imitating us. And I know I think you got Tony coming in, right? Tony Robbins.
In July.
Okay, so with Tony, I was training his vice president of sales. He was a wonderful communicator. He's from the Midwest. He's just wonderful. When you talk with him, you really get the essence of him. He wanted me to help him to be a better speaker. I put him on in front of the camera. I said, go. All of a sudden, he didn't show up. Tony Robbins jumped right in front of him, and he started imitating Tony. I said, and then he said, afterwards, he said, what do you think? I said, I thought you were here. Where did you go? He goes, what do you mean? I said, no, I saw a Tony cloney. You tried to clone Tony Robbins. You weren't yourself. He goes, really? I showed him the video. And I showed him a video of he and I just talking. And I said, they're two different people. And he went, wow. I said, why don't you be less of him and more of you? And once you're more of you, you could start blending some of his skills in, but as a basis and a canvas of you, not you trying to become him. Because even the worse you is better than the best imitation of somebody else.
Yeah, it's great. I love that. Do you prepare your speech, and how do you do that?
Oh yeah, I do prepare my speech. I prepared the speech that I'll give tomorrow.
Yeah.
I prepared years ago.
Yeah.
I practiced, drilled, and rehearsed it. I practiced the assemblage of words. I practiced the staging of where I'm going to stand and make points.
Okay.
Oh yeah, when I'm going to make a critical, powerful, life-changing point, I'm going to stand in that circle over there. I'm going to tell my story over there, and then when I'm ready for that point, I'm going to work over to that circle over there, and that's where I'm going to deliver that powerful message. And then later on, whatever I'm doing, as soon as I step into that circle, they're listening. They're expecting some wisdom.
You do that every time? You choose?
Well, I planned that out a long time ago. All I do now is execute that. See, when I plan it and I know what I'm going to do, when it comes to executing it on that day, I have, just like I got rid of the weights and the toxins in my body, I got rid of everything. I am free and clear to now personalize my message to that group. You see, I could use the energy of that room because I'm not thinking, well, how am I going to say this? No, I already know how I'm going to say it. I pretty much know what I'm going to do. I can now use my energy to tailor it, customize it, focus on, serve it. I could start looking at those vortexes of energy in the people because I'm not having to think about my speech. I could think about them.
Yeah, but you are able to do that because you did a lot of speeches.
I practiced.
Yeah.
You know, doing a lot of speeches, you can do a lot of speeches, and when people come to me and they say, like, I might have a fellow like you who's younger than my youngest child, Benjamin, you know, and they come and they go, man, I heard you've trained a lot of speakers and you've done a lot of this stuff. What information can you give me? And most people would say, you know, you go out and do a whole bunch of speeches. Well, what I say is, you don't have to go out to do a lot of speeches. You can do it while you're driving your car. You could do it during or after your meditation. See the speech. See yourself doing it. Practice it. Drill it. Put yourself on video. By the time you do that, man, you can kick ass in any speech you want. So really get it down. You know, there was in the Vietnam War, they had these prisoners of war. And this one guy visualized himself playing golf every day. He visualized it. And when he came out of that, when they were rescued and liberated and freed, his body was weak. As soon as he got his body back, his tennis game was twice as good because of the practice that he had done in his mind. You see? You can do your speech that way. So you practice your speech and get it down. People would ask me as I was traveling, I know you do consulting and you train consultants and all. What is your core philosophy? And I would tell them as follows. I'm going to give you what I told them. Our belief is that the financial results of any business is largely dependent upon the quality of its people, from the CEO to the receptionist and everybody in between. And when you invest in the skills and abilities of the people, you get automatic and immediate results of every aspect of your business, including and especially the bottom line. So I memorized that. Our belief is the financial results of any business largely depend upon the quality of its people, CEO, reception, and everybody. When you invest the skills and abilities of people, you get automatic immediate results, everything including the bottom line. I memorized it. So why should I think about that when I can plan my presentation and deliver it that way? So that's how I do my speeches. No two speeches are the same, but I have confidence that if somebody said, Dave, they want you to do a speech on Illuminate or on my new book, which is called Preventing Brand Slaughter. Well, they want you to do it on the book you wrote called From Change Victim to Change Master, or Psyched on Service. I can right now go in there and do that speech because I've got it embedded in my hard drive. Yeah. My scanners, these great scanners, go to this amazing hard drive and boom, it's in there. And as long as I have random access through, I can Google it, I can deliver that speech. And I can tailor it to them. I can tailor it to today. That takes a lot of practice. But I want to be a speaker, but I don't know if I want to do that much practice. Then you're not going to be a speaker. Or you're going to be a one-trick wonder, or you're just going. But when you really are it and be it, you know the Pat Benatar song, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Hit me with your best shot. I go up and I'll go, hit me with your best shot. I'm ready. I can do it. Dave, it's the middle of the night. I need you to get up and do a speech in about 20 minutes. Cool. Put water on my face, brush my teeth. I'm ready. Let's do it.
According to you, why some people have the content, have the books, have everything to change their life, and why they don't?
Say again. Why they know it, but they don't take action?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah. They read the books.
Yeah.
They are following huge seminars.
You hit. I got it. I mean, I know the question you're asking. I want to say it in my own words. So why is it that they go to the seminars, they read the books, they could even probably tell other people about it, but they don't do it? They're not living it. Is that the question?
Yeah.
They're not in integrity with it. It comes back to what we talked about in the beginning of this conversation. Illuminate. There's something that's holding them back. There's something that's holding them back. I'm going to give you an example. I used to do sales training. I've trained thousands of salespeople. And these people really learn how to prospect, how to present, how to handle objections, how to close, how to manage a they know all that stuff. They could do seminars on it, but they don't make any sales. Why don't they make sales? They don't realize they're in the real estate business. And the real estate between this ear and this ear is important real estate. The real estate in here is important real estate. And they don't realize that the mental game and the emotional game is going to define their success, the depth and breadth of their success. What's in the way? What's in the way? I mean, I know all this stuff, Dave. I read the books. I mean, I could recite the books. I've gone to every seminar. Look at my charge account. I've spent all this money on this thing. Why isn't my life in order? That's a good question. Are you ready for the answer? Yes, please. The answer is your foot's on the brake while you're pushing on the gas. Your foot's on the brake. And you keep pushing on the gas harder, harder. But this cosmic force, this hysterical life drama, this comedic tragedy is such that every action has an equal or greater reaction. And the more you push on that gas, the more it seems that the cosmic joke is it pushes harder on the brake. When you illuminate what the brake is, when you face that there's a brake holding you back, by their fruits ye shall know them, you ain't got no fruits. Something's wrong. When you illuminate and say, what is that brake? I don't know. What could it be? What might it be? I don't know. Seek and ye shall find. Make your goal, your major definite purpose, to look and see what could be that brake, what could be holding you back. Face it. Don't make yourself crazy, but face it. Ask yourself, what could be holding me back? Then follow it. What might it be? What could be the cause? If I don't face it, what's going to be my life? And then fix it. So I say, generally speaking, the individual who goes to the seminar, and I identify them in my audiences. These are people who've been to every seminar. They're going to keep going to seminars, and they still can't pay their bills. Their life still sucks. They still can't have a relationship. I look at them, and I try to teach them. I hold my book up, and I say, listen, go inside, illuminate the negative, find out what could be holding you back. When you release that brake, boom, you go flying. Boom, you go flying. You got it? Anybody who's a scientist and wants to study this stuff in physics, there's a study called force field analysis. It was developed by Dr. Kurt Lewin in 1943. He said there are driving forces and restraining forces. Most people focus in on the driving forces and they don't illuminate the restraining forces. David, you ask a good question.
Yeah, it's very important for me because I want to make a difference in their life, and it's important for me that my clients get the message, take action, change their life, and I don't understand sometimes why they don't.
Well, that's it. They need to illuminate that. I would work with salespeople, and they'd say, you know, I hear this objection a lot. They give me this objection, and I want to work on it. So I work with them, and we work very hard, and we look at the objection, and we practice, and we look at what's causing the objection, and they get it. Boom, they're ready. I said, I give them the objection, and they give it back, and I like, boom, high five, I love you, man, you're a great student, now get out of here and go be happy. They'll call me up a month later and go, David, I got a problem. What's the problem? It's about the objection. I went, that's interesting. You seem to really have it down. He goes, yeah, my problem is nobody's giving me the objection anymore. I'm all ready to answer the objection and nobody's giving me the objection. Why is that? I said, because metaphysically, you're not sending out a message saying, don't ask that question. Because of your confidence. You see? Your confidence. So we've illuminated that and we've eliminated that and we move forward. So why don't people succeed when they study all this sort of stuff? It's the mental game. It's the mental game. Once you start clearing what some of these blockages are, what these things that are holding you back are, maybe I don't deserve success. Some people believe that. And unfortunately, a high percentage of women believe that. It's terrible what we've done in our societies. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. And they don't realize that they believe that, but they believe that. When I work with them on their self-esteem, and we broke all of a sudden, everything they've learned can now come out. They could now utilize everything they've learned because we've opened up a floodgate. We open a floodgate. You understand? When you have a clog in an artery or a clog in a pipe, it builds a pressure. When you relieve that clog, whoa, it comes gushing through. You got it? And so, what is the clog? What is the blockage? Often it's psychological. That comes through meditation, prayer, psychotherapeutic counseling, neuro-linguistic counseling, timeline therapy counseling. That's getting to what we call root cause analysis. Yeah, so you just keep looking and looking and looking and looking and looking and learning and learning and learning and learning, and you're not getting any results. You got to ask yourself, is there a blockage? It's often a blockage.
Yeah.
So that's the story. And in the States, we have a song, and it says, you got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. Right. And it's this song. And I say, well, accentuate the positive, yes, but don't eliminate the negative until you illuminate the negative. Yeah.
Right. Yes, David, I have another question for you. You do a lot of things for youth. I would love to let you talk about your project and what you are doing. It's very important for you, and I believe a lot in what you are doing. And yeah, can we talk about that?
Well, yes, I don't know statistics worldwide, but there's a terrible pandemic going on, and teenagers are committing suicide in record proportions. They're killing themselves. In fact, it's the third largest cause of teenage death, and a major contributor to that is bullying. Bullying, where people take advantage of other people. They prey upon the weak, so to speak. So groups of very popular or strong or powerful kids might, and we've seen this in movies, and it's been going on forever. Well, now it's happening in huge proportion because of the biggest weapon of mass destruction. The weapon of mass destruction is not a gun, and it's not a knife, and it's not a bomb. It's the internet. Cyberbullying. They go onto social networks or whatever, and they embarrass, they humiliate, they frustrate, they bully people, and it brings people to such desperation. So we've created an awareness campaign for that, an awareness campaign. And we've created a video-based learning experience that can go into schools, that people could learn, kids could learn, both the people who are being bullied and the bullies, and all the other people who might just watch and let it happen, which is a terrible thing. That's just like in the Holocaust, knowing that these concentration camps existed, and people just said, well, it's not my problem. Oh my God, what a crime against humanity. And what a crime it is for young kids to see other kids getting bullied and nobody's doing anything about it. No one wins. So we developed this video, amazing program. We call it ABLE, Anti-Bullying Learning Experience. Anti-Bullying Learning Experience. I think it's .com or whatever. It's easy to find us, I think. And Alex Rennie was the fellow who had the seminal idea for this, a wonderful young thought leader with a heart as big as the ocean.
What is his name?
Alex Rennie, R-E-N-N-I-E, Alexander Rennie, wonderful fellow. And I'm actually supposed to be on a teleconference right now with Alex and another individual, and we've joined forces. And this other individual, when he was a high school kid, he saw this other kid getting bullied, and they used to beat this kid up, all because the kid wore a pink shirt one day. And he saw this kid wearing a pink shirt. And they started, they called him names, they called him fag, and they called him all these different, and they beat the crap out of him. And this guy who was older, this kid who was older, he was a senior in high school, older, he went in there and he said, stop it. And he broke it up. And he got some of his friends and said, this bullying stuff has got to stop. It's got to stop. And he and his friends got together, and they all got together, and they all wore pink shirts that day, just to just as a solidarity against this thing called bullying. Now in Canada, and I think it's called Pink Shirt Every Day or something like that. It's in .ca, I'm not sure. Now in Canada, that's what they do. And it's taken off and it's going worldwide. Pink Shirt Every Day, to bring awareness of this bullying thing. So ABLE and then this Pink Day Every Day or something I think it's called, these are campaigns that are making a difference to bring this to fruition. And whenever anybody asks me, what are you passionate about? I'm passionate about a lot of stuff. One is, too many young people are getting bullied today. And if they live, and if they don't kill themselves or hurt themselves, they live with a mental blemish. And I remember talking with you one time, David, about talking about people who have low self-esteem or low self-confidence early on. It often comes from that bullying. Somebody told them at an early age, you're not good enough. And that negativity is carried on through the rest of their life. And when bullies learn this, the effect that they have on somebody's life, they realize, oh my God, I didn't know I was doing that. And then when you ask the bullies, why do you do that? And you illuminate to the root cause, is because either they were bullied or they don't feel good enough about themselves. They feel lack of connection. Yeah, so thank you for asking.
Thank you very much.
How do you like that trip? It's a lousy trip, wasn't it?
Thank you.